everybody, and welcome. My name is Elisa Di Napoli, and I am a holistic clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, coach, and author. And today I want to talk about stopping smoking forever. And in this Facebook Live, at the end of it, I shall give you a way to actually become a non-smoker for free. 5 people will be chosen among those that apply to get a free smoking package that is worth £250. So stick around till the end to get information on how to apply. And for everyone else, what I want to talk about today is help you to stop smoking and understand what it is that stops you from quitting. So if you are a smoker and you are worried at this moment, especially with COVID-19, now it is the time to really stop smoking, right? It's a harsh reality that if you're a smoker, you're more likely to get acute respiratory infections and have a higher risk of those infections becoming severe. So the best time to stop really is now, right? And there has never been a better time. So you may be thinking, yeah, sure, Elisa, but if it was easy to stop smoking, I would have done it. Especially now that stress is so high, your routines have been suddenly disrupted. If quitting smoking was easy, you would have done it already. And perhaps you are like the majority of people who try to stop smoking, and even the thought of stopping makes them anxious or scared. So are you scared of giving up? Are you scared? Even just the thought of smoking makes you a bit nervous. Or have you been thinking, yeah, I want to stop, but just not today? If this is you, you are not alone. And the majority of people who find it hard to stop smoking, they don't do it for one reason, and that is fear. Now, I used to be a smoker, so I know what it's like. I know also what it's like to stop, and I've helped a lot of people quitting for good. So stick around because I'd like to share with you some tips, okay? Now, of course, it's fear that is the main reason why you are not stopping. And what do I mean with that? Well, fear, for example, that you will have to go through a long period of time suffering, feeling deprived, wanting to have a cigarette, but suffering because you can't have a cigarette. Or you may be scared that you won't enjoy social situations as much. You may be scared that you won't be able to concentrate fully, that you will be irritable. You may be scared that you will gain weight, or that you won't be as confident with the crutch of cigarettes and any kind of social situations or at work. You may feel or be afraid that you will go crazy with stress and won't be able to calm down. You may be afraid that you will lose your identity, your personality, or that you lose the only friend, that only helpful friend that is there for you, the cigarettes, right? But here's the thing, the fear of quitting cold turkey is actually created by not just the nicotine, but also addictive thinking. And often we think that it is the actual nicotine, or for other addictions, the very thing, the substance that we're addicted to. But the reality is that although there is a little bit of that, the majority is addictive thinking. The majority of the problem is the thinking. And I want to give you a little bit of an example for that. In 1971, as the Vietnam War was heading into its 16th year, In America, there was a study that was conducted because they discovered that 30% of service members in Vietnam had tried heroin, and they were, and almost 20% were addicted. So they were really scared that these soldiers would come back to America and then they would have a massive problem with heroin addiction. So there was a study that was conducted by Lee Robbins, and this study found that actually only 5% of soldiers coming back from the Vietnam War were re-addicted within a year, and only 12% relapsed within 3 years. And so basically, in other words, 9 out of 10 soldiers who used heroin in Vietnam eliminated their addiction nearly overnight. So this contradicted the prevailing view that heroin was a permanent, irreversible condition. And instead, Robbins revealed that addictions could spontaneously dissolve if there was a radical change in environment. So when we're talking about this, the environment, what do we mean? Why is the environment so important? Well, because in any environment, we as humans want our needs to be met. And if our needs are not met, well, we find ways to meet our needs, sometimes dysfunctional ways. And addictive thinking is all about trying to meet our needs and going either towards pleasure of some kind or running away, avoiding pain of some kind. And I want to give you the example of toothache. Say that, you've got a toothache, and this toothache is there because there's an underlying problem in your tooth. Maybe it's rotting and needs an operation or whatever. Now, if you want to get rid of the pain, which most people would, I've got my kitten here, excuse me, what would you do? You could try paracetamol, but if you did that, you wouldn't really get rid of the problem, right? You'd need to keep taking paracetamol, and the more you took paracetamol, the less it would work, and then you need more paracetamol and more and more and more, until that could become even more dangerous than the tooth itself. If you're, at a overdose of paracetamol, right? So what would actually work is looking at the cause, and you need to go to the dentist and actually have that tooth operated on. So this is what addictive thinking is about. So we need to understand the function of the addiction, not just look at the symptoms itself, because if you just look at the symptoms, then you may get rid of the cigarette addiction, but you might get addicted to something else, and we don't want that, do we? Now, of course, hypnotherapy can help with that, but today I also want to help you by giving you tips that you can use on your own from today. So first of all, number one is motivation. You need to be motivated, and motivation can be negative, meaning what will happen to me if I don't stop today? And positive, what will happen to me when I do give up the smoking habit forever? So what I would suggest you do is to make a list of the reason to quit. If my little kitty leaves me alone. There are probably a number of these reasons, but have you actually ever written them down? I would strongly suggest that you write them down and be very specific. What are the benefits you're going to have when you stop smoking? And what is going to happen if you don't? Long term. Second, set a date that you are going to quit and stick to it. So write this date on your calendar, mark it, look at it all the time, because your subconscious is a goal-striving mechanism, and it will strive towards any goal, no matter what it is. So make sure the goal is positive. So rather than saying, oh, I don't want to be a smoker, I want to be free. I want to be fit. I want to feel good about myself. These are positive goals rather than, oh, I don't want to be a smoker. Because when you think like that, you're actually evoking the picture of the smoker, aren't you? And another thing that can help, number 3, is to change your brand. And what I mean by this is just 1 week before quitting, change your brand of cigarettes. If you are smoking roll-ups, for example, you could change to actual cigarettes, and the other way around, vice versa. Or if you want to stick to the cigarettes, choose a brand that you don't like. Because the idea here is 1, to build aversion, 2, to become really aware of your habit. So you're not an automatic pilot anymore. You're consciously making a choice every single time, whether to smoke or give it up. And also can be used, number 4, this technique can be used to change the way you hold the cigarette. So, for example, if you hold the cigarette in these 2 fingers, change it to these 2 fingers, or make it awkward. Once again, change hands, perhaps. Use a different way of opening the packet from the bottom, so you really need to pay attention. Or if you use ashtrays, don't use ashtrays, use bottles. So you really need to look at what you're doing, be conscious. Or you could use a glass filled with water, so that every time you look at that glass of water, you realize how horrible it is. And that's what you're doing to your lungs, right? So we're trying to break the associations and make you feel really, really conscious. Also, number 5, change your routine. So notice when it is that you want to smoke the most. If you normally smoke after a meal, or while watching TV, or just as you wake up, or whatever it may be, try substituting these activities with something else that actually meets your needs. So this depends on what the function of the cigarette has. If you understand the function of the cigarette, then you can really, really tailor these activities. So for example, if you find that cigarettes calm you down, or you say to yourself that they calm you down, then what actual activity would work calming you down? Because if the cigarette worked, then you wouldn't need to do it again, would you? You'd be calm. In fact, nicotine is a stimulant, so it actually goes against that. So if you wanted to calm down, then what could you do? Maybe you could meditate. Maybe you could read a book. Maybe you could go for a walk. Maybe you could just take a break, right? And so find things that you could do in that you normally wouldn't do, and to break your routine. It could be just as simple as going to a part of the house where you wouldn't normally smoke. And finally, a couple more things. Get active. Even a 5-minute walk around the block produces chemicals that reduce the cravings. And remember that the cravings are just a reminder that you used to smoke. They are telling you that you are letting go of the toxins in your body, so it's a positive thing. And as you persevere, it will get better and better, easier and easier. So use positive self-talk, affirmations. And what I mean by affirmations is you need to say these affirmations with conviction, and you need to imagine what it would feel like to actually believe these beliefs and try them on, like you would try on a coat that you wanted to buy. Well, before you buy the coat, you want to try it on, walk a little bit with it. And belief is like that. It doesn't feel familiar at first because it's like a new coat. You never had tried it before, right? So just see what it's like. What would it be like to actually believe this? Try it on, act as if. That's the trick. Really imagine what would it be like to believe that 100%. Like, I can do this. And actually it feels good. Or have left a toxic false friend behind that was robbing me of my freedom, my money, my vitality. And actually, I feel better and better. Every day I go without that false friend, I feel better and better. So this is the kind of affirmation that you need to really tailor to yourself so that it suits you. Not just some generic one that somebody else has come up with that might not suit you. You need to believe it and you need to make it work for you, right? Which brings me to the fact that hypnotherapy is one of the most powerful techniques that can actually help you to understand your addictive thinking and how to break that cycle, to identify the function that your cigarette habit has in your life so you can successfully treat it, not just the symptoms. And hypnotherapy can help you get motivated to stop smoking and to stay a non-smoker, not just today or tomorrow, next week, but for the rest of your life. And hypnotherapy can help you break the triggers, the associations that get you smoking in the first place and replace them with better ones. And finally, hypnotherapy can really help you feel positive about becoming a non-smoker. So, if you have not been able to quit before, this doesn't mean that you won't be able to quit now. And if you could stop smoking easily without cravings, why wouldn't you break out of that habit into a better, more healthy, cleaner version of yourself, right? No brainer. So, to give back to the community in this time of challenge for everybody, I'm offering 5 deserving people the chance to become smoke-free and have their last cigarette ever. So, however, rather than just give it at random, I would like to give it to someone who is deserving. And what I mean by that, if my cat will stop interrupting this live Facebook, Bulbulina always wants to be in the spotlight. So, and just rather than just giving it to anyone, I would like to give it to someone who's deserving. What that means is someone who's really motivated to change. Maybe they don't have the money, okay? Maybe they lost a job or they can't work or whatever. They don't have the money to invest, but they're really motivated. They really want to change. So they're not just doing it because their partner wants them to. They really want to stop, okay? So to be in the chance to win this package that is worth £240, what I ask you to do is to go to my website, and the email for that is here, and enter the Stop Smoking Forever giveaway. The closing date is Monday, the 11th of May, so go there now. And what I ask you to do is to tell me why you deserve this help, why do you want to stop, what is your motivation, yeah? That's all. So just send me an email, go to that website and enter your information, and then I shall be in touch with 5 people, and I will be really, really delighted to help you out to stop smoking forever from today. Well, not from today, but from when our sessions will begin. So that is all for today. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any comments or questions, please do write in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m.